Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Truth Disclosure 369 in the house once again. Just want to greet anyone who comes across this video in the greeting words, universal words of peace. Um, as we continue to try and make sense of, of all of the craziness that's going on around us. I just wanted to get on here today. It's been a couple of days I got on. To say a few things about how I personally feel about this Ukraine Russia deal and what I've been hearing around me and the obvious signs that uh, there's some type of push for propaganda on both sides of the board, in which, once again, uh, the people who are caught up in the middle of all this shit are the ones who are left with the burdens of destruction, chaos, and all this other stuff for whatever motives particular governments or interests and all this stuff are involved in. It's plain as day. But I just want to go in and start off by sharing this article, man, uh, which to me, and I'm gonna just give my overall opinion. I mean, to each their own, man. But you got to be one brainwashed person to sit up here and put your life on the line for some shit that you really do not know the reality of it. You don't know. There's always two sides of a story. You know, that's what they always say. But to go jump into something like so many have because of what the media has been feeding everybody, and the media in Russia is putting out a different story, and then you got, which a lot of people have been called out, a lot of these so-called fake ass rulers like Justin Trudeau and the dumb shit that he did over up in Canada. And you know, he was in Great Britain meeting with Boris Johnson, who's another scumbag fake ruler who imposes decrees on the people that he so-called govern, and he doesn't abide by them. He met with him and as well another gentleman. I can't recall who his name, but he was another leader. I don't think it was the French. It might have been someone connected with France. But he talked all this shit, Justin Trudeau, about authoritarianism and damage to democracies and all this other stuff, and we need to do this. And a lot of people called that shit out, like, how the fuck can you sit up here and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to that first, and then I'm gonna come back to this article because I need to say something about that. But I'm gonna go to hold on 1 minute. Let me see if I can pull it up. And I think this is it right here. Nope, that's not it. But it's very interesting because let's see. I have to go to let me see. All right, I think this is it right here. Hold on. No, they won't stay. I have to pull it up there, but the basic article was or the footage. It was footage showing them meeting, and maybe I have to go to. Hold on, let me go here. Let me see. Okay. Okay, here we go. Hold on. One more minute. And there's certain people that on these different interviews, some of them are, but a lot of it. Okay, is this it?
You see this black box right here? Well, I'm going to show you something right
now. But it just shows you what is happening, the state of the world.
With his inability or lack of answers, it's now being seen and felt from the press around the world. I'm Adrienne Batra. With me is Michael Diamond and Mike.
No, that's not it. Damn, I just was looking at it, man, but what you're dealing with is people who are now calling out the hypocrisy of these leaders in the open. That's what, oh, here it is. Now I'm gonna share this.
It involves someone going on television and talking the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life, and that's
all right. Now I'm gonna share this. This is dealing with that meeting between Trudeau and some of those European allies, so-called allies. So let me share that. This is a British TV.
crap I've ever heard in my life, and that is, of course, the pretty boy himself. He's got a foppish hairdo. He was like Hugh Grant. It is Justin Trudeau. He gave this great long diatribe today against Putin, saying that he wants respect for sovereignty, he wants to have democracy stood for, he wants to stay true to these values, he wants to fight for that all over the world. This was a man that basically froze the bank accounts of truckers, decided that he was going to forcibly round them up. He took tactics directly out of the rule book of Vladimir Putin to deal with his own people, and then he has the audacity and the lack of self-awareness to stand at a podium and tell us that he wants to fight for sovereignty and democracy. He's a hypocrite, he has a neck made of brass, and he's a moron.
I have to agree and concur. Not only him, but a bunch more of these motherfucking assholes. But it's showing you that, once again, these fake ass leaders, these so-called rulers and shit, who are basically human beings, some of them are, I'm not going to give some of them even credit of having that title, but who people have put in their trust and their faith in, and they're giving their energy over to for their well-being, and they're doing something totally different. But the thing is, Trudeau had been, gave this big old statement about how Canada and the allies and all this shit are about this and about that and about protecting and sustaining the democracies and what's a threat to democracy, and everybody, including him, shooting at Putin and showing all this shit, but they're doing just the same shit in their own countries, like New Zealand and Australia and all these places where all these leaders and shit are talking all this shit about what's going on with Putin and what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, even the Israel, man. Look at all the stuff, all the undemocratic stuff that was happening with the Palestinians. No matter how much people don't want to talk about these issues or want to slide to one side and not hear out the other side, I mean, it's hypocritical to sit up there and talk that shit and then sit up here and lead everybody blindly into believing something about a situation that's happening when people don't really know what the fuck going on, when everybody's lying. Everybody has a stake in this shit and some type of agenda. So it hurt to see this shit, man. That a person from here, a human being from Detroit, don't matter his color. I don't give a fuck who. If he was white, it would still be the same fucking way. If he was Mexican, it'd still be the same fucking way. Just happens to be a black man and headed to Ukraine. I'm actually going to fight in something you have no fucking idea. Once again, you to go over here and so-called stop an aggressor nation from impending on democratic values, when the same democratic values this person or any other person is going over there. A lot of these people are mercenaries. They don't give a fuck about it. They live, breathe, eat war or any type of conflict. Mercenaries. That's basically what they got over there. A lot of mercenaries who are willing to, you know how fucked up some economies are. So the next thing a person, the only outlet they have to try and provide for themselves and their families, you know, shit, fuck it, murder, war. So a lot of mercenaries, a lot of mercs have been involved in this shit. Even Russia, from one story I've seen, you know, and you never can, everything that you get on information dealing with Ukraine or Russia, you have to take it with a grain of salt because these folks are working hard on an agenda with this shit. I mean, it's kind of subtle to sit here and know that you still in a pandemic, like I said before, and then right out of it, you're going into some type of nuclear threat with nuclear powers at odds. So, you know, this kind of hurt when I seen this, like I said, man. Everybody is getting behind this guy, give him support, and I want the best for him. I hope he makes it out alive. He comes back, he's able to get back with his family. But it just shows how some people, man, if you're not given the right information, or if you're not even trying to seek it outside of what these folks are telling you, you can get to a point where you become controlled. That's basically what this society has turned into, man. Mass hypnosis, mass control on a whole level, man. Further than anybody else. Everybody is controlled in some type of way. It don't matter whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're a Detroiter, whether you're a New Yorker or Californian, American, South American, a Canadian, Frenchman, all this, man. But that hurt to see that, because you have to be like, damn. A lot of people don't know what the history of Ukraine. I had to look into it myself for some events, but it's automatically some bullshit. Going back to 2014, when there was a coup and an overthrowing of the government, which led to the guy that they have in power now, who is basically a puppet, just like everybody else. But he's a puppet for a certain interest, and America is one of them. And let me go to another one. Now, see, a lot of people don't understand that when you get to talking about Ukraine, the first thing is Russia, this big bag bully power, is running over here to Ukraine, and if you don't understand the history of what's going on, I'm not even gonna go into all that. I'm just putting this out here so people can go into that shit themselves and make their own determination. But from day one, the red lights was on anyway. From like, there's something about this shit also they're lying about. It's amazing how every Western media service is just coming out saying all this other shit about Russia and about Ukraine and this and that and third. You barely see this. Matter of fact, when you see stuff like this in any type of media circle, you might only catch it in a minute article. But this is something that has been out since the whole day. Even the demands that Putin supposedly put out there is that this shit need to stop. So from what's going down, it looks like Ukraine has a lot of far-right neo-Nazi individuals who are a part of the military, who are part of the security forces. These people have been murdering or a part of a conflict in these separatist regions where that are key to Putin and the Russian movement. These people in these areas speak Russian. They're in and out of Russia. They're basically Russian. And these neo-Nazi Ukrainians are at odds with them, and they are murdering and killing them and doing all type of crazy shit. Nazis with the symbols and everything, but you won't hear that shit. You won't see that. You won't even hear it on this media. It's like they don't want to touch that. It's like they don't want to touch Fauci being a murderer, part of a murderer campaign. You won't see it. They won't touch this shit. So you got all these people in street terms, brown nosing Ukraine, and they don't even know the reality of what's really going on. So once you start throwing your support and backing shit, then that means you are back the same shit that you claim you stood against. You know, everybody know they stood against, everybody claim they stood against Nazis during World War II and the atrocities and, you know, the madness that was stirred up under Hitler and in the fourth, what they call the Third Reich, who were working on the Fourth Reich, and then we probably in the Fourth Reich. Most likely we are in the Fourth Reich. It's just people don't understand that it's different players now. But that from this country to other allies, NATO, empowering the Ukrainian army with weapons and all type of tech and shit to fight war, because war is a moneymaker, a big moneymaker. But here it is. And a lot of the people in Russia are know about this shit. They don't agree. A lot of people don't agree with the war in Russia. A lot of people in Ukraine don't agree with some of the shit. But you only get the parts that fits the agendas, the interests, and everything else. So they'll push this shit out as propaganda, and you will know nothing about that. You just set up here and okayed the arming of Nazis who've been murdering and killing people because of their political differences. And when you go back to 2014, everything about this coup and all this stuff was funded and was brought about by the United States. I mean, people got to understand, you can't keep riding with what these folks are saying and not understand that there will be some something about it that will later on come out that will make you, well, you know, should make you feel kind of fucked up. You know, hold on, I lost the article. Let me go back to it. But this is something that actually is, I mean, when they don't touch a subject, then 9 times out of 10, the possibility of it actually happening, and they actually have this shit. This is them. Look at that. That's a Nazi symbol. In a different formula and stuff. And I'm gonna go to, hold on a minute. It's another article. Let me get out of here. Find this other article that was So, you know, it hurts when you see people like from the get-go. I never took a side. I will not take a side in any of these uh globalist wars or this cabal war efforts, because you're never going to get the truth. You have to put what I do. I put all my concerns and stuff with the people who are suffering because of this shit. Okay, here you go. All right, so we got that. Let me share this. So here we go. NATO says it didn't notice Ukraine soldiers' apparent Nazi symbol in tweet. This is on Newsweek yesterday. An official of the US-led NATO alliance had told that the coalition did not notice what appeared to be a symbol associated with Nazism on the uniform of a Ukrainian soldier. Now, if they're putting out information like this, especially in Newsweek and in other articles, and Putin and other people are saying that this is shit that's going on in Ukraine, to have the physical evidence of the flags and of emblems and stuff. So how can you put yourself in a position where you, in ignorance, you following and supporting something that could be have ties to some of the most darkest shit in the world's history, and then feel good about yourself? There's no way. Now, the first of the four images included what appeared to be a Ukrainian service member bearing a black sun. This was something that a lot of Nazis and stuff back then, the black sun coat. And this goes into something else, also known in German as the Schwarzsund or Sonnenmonat, is rooted in Nazi occultism and has been brandished by the far-right elements across the globe, including in Ukraine. Damn, really? So for these people to sit here and do what they do, like my man that's from here that's going over there to fight. I mean, do you actually know who what you're going to fight for, about? Do you really know what's going on? Not taking any sides. I don't care what the fuck United States say. I don't trust their ass. I don't give a fuck what Russia say. I don't really trust their motives behind shit. But one thing about it, there's two different interests involved. And the interests of the West and the interests of Russia and those who are aligned with Russia. And one of the things Russia is trying to do also is to keep their borders and everything from being involved in conflict and stuff. The more they give land is taken and NATO gobbles up land, the more their borders are in danger. So that one of the things they claimed that they wanted was for Ukraine to stay neutral. How can you, and you have to look at it from a strategic standpoint. Why would you want all the countries surrounding you all a part of a group that are all they're all perceived enemies? So when something happens, you know, they can set up bases, they can set up this, they can set up that, all this shit right around your borders, and you have nothing. If you have a buffer zone where you're able to support shit, you know, where you're able to have a buffer zone where the conflict is on the other side of that buffer zone. You have the ability to have space and area, you know, to do shit. I mean, that's how I look at it. But they won't tell nobody all this shit, but they'll sit up here and have everybody thinking that what's going on in Ukraine is something from a crazed maniacal person, which Putin is no different than any other rest of these sack of shit leaders who would rather put their interests, best interests ahead of the interests of people who get caught up in this shit. And one thing about it, man, if you think that these folks give a fuck about them people in Ukraine, you got another thing coming. There are reports of people in Ukraine being those who come from other countries that were living there, black, of other Asian, of other ethnic groups who being denied, the ability to get away from the bullshit because of who they are. You have to be a complete Ukrainian. I've seen one report where a person was saying, look, they were saying women and children first, but it was all Ukrainians, white Ukrainians. What about the rest of us? Damn, the women and children from us wasn't even on. So for a person to jump into this shit and, hey, to each his own. Whoever wants to float their boat in the nonsense, that's on them. You won't see me agreeing with none of this shit. I pray for them folks just like I pray for the shit that's happening in here, that everybody wake up to and see who our real enemy is all over this fucking planet. These folks playing games. They're using the media and everything to split people, to divide people, and to shape your perception on events that are happening. And like I said, man, if you can't trust these motherfuckers, know they can't be trusted. This whole pandemic has been got Battle Cat over here. What's up, man? This whole pandemic has been based on a bunch of lying, a bunch of hypocrisy, a bunch of half-truths, a bunch of censorship, a bunch of a lot of stuff that just setting people off because they see it for themselves. And when you got hypocrites and these fake ass leaders sitting up here trying to get you to think one way, and they've already been caught up in lies and everything else, there's no way you can get a person, you won't get me to ride in a car, especially when it coming when it's dealing with impacting other human beings. I don't give a damn where they at across the planet. These folks have already proven they are good at lying, and well, they ain't even good at that shit. But this is some shit that that people really need to understand. Everybody want to talk about is is this the end of the world and all this shit, man? And it's like, man, we the one who empower these liars, these hypocrites. I don't know how else to say it. People continue to sit up here and think these systems of governance is working and all this other shit, and think it's cool to be ruled by hypocrites and liars and those that are not about human beings' interests. They're about other shit, and it's plain to see. People have a right to want to do that. They have a right to make them choices. But with that comes consequences. All of this shit that is happening, man, all of us have basically okayed a lot of this shit to happen throughout the years, whether we knew it or not. And people gotta understand, the more we do this shit, the more these motherfuckers are gonna take more, and they're gonna keep doing it, and they're gonna keep using propaganda and shit to scare people and all this other shit. And none of these people give a damn about your household, about you, about your family, none of that shit. These people that are up there in these governing groups and all this shit, the people that we don't even see that's running shit, they do not give a fuck. All they want is this shit to be this way. And I can't say it. I don't know how much to say it. They do not fucking care. They don't care how many people die because of disease that caused war they've started, and then want to reach out and try and give a motherfucker some help after some shit they done stirred up. They don't care. They don't care about them folks over there getting their shit bombed up, even though they screaming democracy. But that shit That is not what they really about, man. That's not what they really about. Hell, the whole Ukrainian thing, man, the whole thing with Biden's son, Hunter Biden, all this shit with Burisma and all. It's like people forgot about all that shit. Like Hunter Biden had the connections and everything, shit that was being called out, you know, when he was running and all this shit with China and then the shit with Ukraine, you know, that the Republicans were trying to call out for their own political interests. Didn't, you know, I don't believe it was trying to call out some shit because it was wrong. Hell, dude, they just mad because they didn't have the opportunity. One of them didn't have the opportunity to do it. You know, but people gotta understand when you take on shit that these folks are saying, that then when certain shit come out that you done okayed and agreed with, and it comes out to be a darker side to it, you know, it's like, damn, ain't no telling how many people. How many people like this brother from in the D this decides to go all the way over here to involve himself in a conflict that sad thing about it, some of the people that I've seen in the videos about, you know, that was going on trying to get out of there, you know, the refugees who were being denied, these were people of color, these were people of other racial that were being left behind or being told one thing, while other Ukrainians more native to that area were being given so, you know, when you got people involving themselves in shit like that, you know, you got to be careful. But I wish people the best over there and everything, that peace will come, that all the lies associated with all this shit will come out. What's in the dark will come to the light, as with everything else that has been coming. More hypocrites will be exposed for what they are. More people who continue to jump on bandwagons and find out that bandwagon is about to crash into a fucking brick wall and be smashed to pieces. You know, I just give I can't do nothing but just send out love, send out the intent of peace and truth. I just want to get on here and share those couple of things because, you know, this is the big deal now. Pandemic is slowly died down, even though it's not over. It just slowly died down, and you know, still have no people still in a lurch behind this. But you know, people have to understand thinking for independently from the hive mind is the only way we're going to get through this shit. First of all, people got to understand that, yes, we are in a hive mind. People who play video games, people who know about hive mind, seen these old movies and old science fiction shit and all that, you should know what a hive mind mentality means. They know that science of bees and hives and all that shit. So shouldn't be hard to understand that. The hive mind is what this group, this cabal, the elite status of this world, this is what they're feeding off of. This is how they're controlling everything. And all these props and pawns that are put in our faces, they're nothing. They're fucking parrots. They're fucking repeaters of shit that they don't even believe in their fucking self. So with that, I just greet you as I came in the Greek words of peace, and hope that everyone continue to have a blessed day and a blessed week. And may truth and the light of truth prevail over all this darkness and falsehood. Peace.